Thank you, Don. Good afternoon, everyone. So as Don indicated, I will be taking you through, the red meat and livestock industry structure, the governance framework, and how we put the levies to work. Initially, I'm going to start with who is LiveCorp. So LiveCorp is the marketing, research and development body for the livestock export industry. So we're a not-for-profit organisation owned by cattle, sheep and goat exporters and funded by statutory levies on those exports. We have 62 members and associates, and we work closely with industry stakeholders to continuously improve performance in animal health and welfare, supply chain and market access. Sorry, it's not coming through. Who is MLA? MLA is the marketing, research and development body for the Australian red meat and livestock industry. So they're the not-for-profit for cattle, goat and sheep producers, and they too receive statutory levies on the transactions from their livestock sales. They have over 49,000 members. So what I'm going to talk to you now about is the actual structure of the red meat industry, and you can see there's quite a few participants in that structure. And the way to look at it is on the vertical and the horizontal. So the first the first body up at the top is RMAC, which is the Red Meat Advisory Council, and it was set up as an industry-funded advisory body to the government. It deals with policy across all the sectors, and by the sectors I mean cattle, sheep and goats. And RMAC is the custodian of the Red Meat Industry Strategic Plan, which sets the priorities and objectives over a 5-year period that the industry will deliver against. The entities in this chart are signatories to a Memorandum of Understanding with RMAC, and that document sets out the roles and responsibilities those entities have, and therefore that document makes them accountable through this structure for their activities. So starting on the vertical, we've got the processors. So that is the Australian Meat Industry Council, AMIC, and their service body, which is AMPC, the Australian Meat Process Corporation. Then moving along, we have the export sector, so that's ALEC and LiveCorp as the service provider there. And then the last group is covering the grain-fed, grass-fed sheep and goat industry, producer industries, and the service body under there is MLA. Going across on the horizontal, those are all the peak industry councils, and they are the industry representative bodies that formulate the policy, set the strategic direction, and lobby government for their industry. And then on the bottom, these are the service providers which have been established under the Australian Meat and Livestock Industry Act to design and deliver research and marketing programs. Each of those entities is a rural research and development corporation that operates under a funding agreement with the Commonwealth because they're recipients of statutory levies. That funding agreement places many requirements on the RDCs in the use of those levy funds. And what I'm going to do now is provide you a snapshot of the governance and consultation process that has to be followed for the use of those levies. So across the top, we have the Australian government priorities that feed in. We have the RMAC MISP priorities, or pillars, as they refer to. And then in our case, for live export, we have the industry priorities. And all of those elements feed into the strategic plan that we set for a 5-year period. So I've noted there we've got the MLA strategic plan and the LiveCorp strategic plan. These two entities come together to deliver the Live Export Program annual operating plan, and then that feeds down through to the annual report that we have to prepare and present at the AGMs. Each year, the AOP process starts around about January, and it goes through to June when that annual operating plan has to be presented to the Minister for Agriculture. It's the annual process to work with industry and our members to identify the priority projects and the investment that they want, and we do that through extensive consultation. If that consultation is not effective, our plans can be rejected. It can be rejected by the government, or it can be rejected by our members. So it's really important that we go out and get people's views and understanding of how they want their levies spent. So onto the Live Export Programme. It's a joint partnership between LiveCorp and MLA, and it takes export levies from exporters and transaction levies from producers. Those funds go into the livestock export program. Currently, LiveCorp contributes about 40% of the funding into that program, and MLA picks up the other 60%, and that's before the matching from the Commonwealth Government on the R&D programs. The Live Export Programme delivers programs and projects that work towards the strategic objectives that we have of animal welfare, which is ensuring that animal welfare meets acceptable standards through education, training, infrastructure, design and improvement. Then we have supply chain efficiency, which is supporting our customers in market to get best value from their livestock, as well as develop and implement risk management tools and improve industry standards. Market access is maintaining market access conditions and building demand for Australian livestock. In addition to that, across all of them, we have communication. So against each priority area, we have to communicate what we're doing and how we're doing it. And then underlining all of that, we have research, development and extension, which is delivering improvements and efficiencies in the welfare standards throughout the supply chain. To deliver all of that, MLA employ 3 in-market managers in the Middle East, Indonesia and Vietnam, and 1 Australian-based manager who covers the other Asia area, and along with LiveCorp staff. The LEP funding for 2015-16 was 6.95 million, and the first chart shows the source of that. So that's considering the contribution from the Australian government into the R&D program. So LiveCorp equates to 30%, MLA to 50%. And then on the far end, we've got how that money was then allocated against the priorities. And as you can see, the priority is animal welfare with I think that's 70% into the animal welfare priorities. Then supply chain, can't see that from here, I think it's 18%, communications, and then market access. So animal welfare really is the priority, both in the LEP and for LiveCorp. What I'm trying to do here is just capture, so when we're coming to do our year-end planning, or our year ahead planning, I should say, we have 3 areas of activity that we always have to consider. There are the strategic projects that we have going, and they're usually longer term. So we've got LGAP, we've had the Productivity Commission, we have approved arrangements which exporters are all transitioning to at the moment, and then we have on the horizon the ACIL review. In addition to that, we have our issues, our issue management. These are things that happen and we have to deal with them and respond to them. So the Japanese market closure, we had to respond to that immediately. Same with Vietnam, the SCAS control and traceability systems, and in relation to China access, the additional standards that have been placed on the protocol for that one. And then we still have to continue to deliver the core business, so that is our governance and our structures and reporting. That doesn't go away. So even though we may be pulled and pushed in opposite directions, that has to stay true because of the levies that we receive from our members. And just on closing for this, I just want to say that LiveCorp does not have the resources like MLA, but we do bring agility and responsiveness, which is a reflection of our members and the environment that we work in. Thank you.